way possible. The name is Law Nation. Yup. Turn me up. In a land of optimism. Also, we got to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Appreciate everybody for jumping in. The hype session is here. The Lion season. You guys know how this thing rolls. Now, we got Mike McCarthy back against the wall, right? That's the only way we can look into this. There's positives out of that, believe it or not, like Ripley's. Appreciate you. Thank everybody for jumping in. Let's go. Turn me up. Really appreciate each and every last one of you all. Let's go. Come on. Ain't no party like a cowboy party. Yeah. Come on. Be sure to slap that notification bell. Join that SWAT up, subscribe to Law Nation Sports, straight out of Dallas Studios. Let's go. Come on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Win, lose, or draw, we here, baby. Come on. Appreciate everybody for jumping in. Had a wonderful time last night, and we talked about so many things as relates to this team possibilities. And, of course, Cowboy Nation. This dude, Trayvon Diggs, hit a grenade and threw it into the Dallas Cowboys DFW area. And everybody was in trouble, right? Everybody was talking about Diggs and Diggs on the same team at the same place at the same time. It's troublesome, right? And it was crazy because we got a chance to just go over that aspect of the game. And a lot of people are like, come on, Law, stop saying that. It's fake news. Come on, Law, you must be, where my dude at? Law, come on, man. You must be out of your goddamn mind. And it wasn't me. It was Trayvon Diggs with the knife, shanking everybody. It wasn't me. And people fail to realize we talk about what the other people done talked about. I'm not sitting here saying that, hey, Law Nation, when you tune in to this particular episode, it's Law Nation Sports breaking news, at 4. It's not me. That's not me. I hear what someone else heard, and they say what they say, and then I give you guys my thoughts, my opinions of the situation. And I said it's more likely that this will not happen, that Stephon Diggs will come to Dallas, but it will be a delight, right? And why? Trayvon Diggs is toying with our feelings, our emotions, right? So it is quite crazy. But in the month of March, instead of March Madness 4, dare I say, the basketball, it's been March Madness for the NFL. There's been crazy things happening, right? No one predicted that the guy, Deshaun Watson, would go to Cleveland and get a $230 million contract, fully guaranteed. No one saw that coming, right? No one knew that Tyreek Hill was going to Miami land, right? And all of those draft picks given up. No one saw Devontae Adams going to the Raiders, right? No one saw that. No one saw that. So crazy things happen. And now we're hearing little news and noise about Tom Brady, the Miami Dolphins, scratching their heads to see whether or not they're going to put everything on the table to see if they can get Tommy. So it is what it is at this situation. Let me know if my audio is straight, Cowboy Nation. This offseason is crazy, right? Shout out to you, Jametta Washington. Appreciate you for jumping in. Shout out to you guys. All right, Tom Downey, burner account. Appreciate you as well. So Mike McCarthy Mike McCarthy back against the wall. Normally, in this type of situation, we would look at it and say, all right, cool. We want Super Bowl. We want action. Everyone have a reason, but results are what matter. And it's been 27 years, and we have not got a chance to taste the results. We have not got a chance to feel what the other team's been feeling with lifting up the Lombardi Trophy. You know, we didn't get a chance to see those things. Some people wasn't even born the last time. Let the AI speak.
Mike McCarthy? Oh, you mean Wade Phillips 2.0.
I really truly believe that Mike McCarthy is a better head coach than Wade Phillips, believe it or not. I really truly believe that if we were to have, like, let's say if we pick up this team, right, and go find a time stone, let's say this time stone right here was able to go into the past, and I slap my hands like this, and we insert Mike McCarthy juxtaposed to Jason Garrett on this team, I'm quite sure that Mike McCarthy would have at least gotten us further than Jason Garrett. That's just my speculation. You know what I'm saying? But I feel you, some people will argue and say, no, Mike McCarthy is Jason Garrett, right? Those two guys are the same person. Nobody's, is far apart from Jason Garrett. But I truly believe that if this team go all the way back into the past too, and get a legitimate coach that can suppress some of the anxieties that we have with this team, that we would have at least been further in the playoff than what we are now. Now, what's happening, collectively speaking, is that we judging this team based upon and predicated upon what Jason Garrett presented to the table. And that's why Mike McCarthy back is already against the wall. Because we're so anxious, not like Genuine, but we're anxious because this is the situation. This is the whole picture of it. Mike McCarthy, first year he went 6-10. Pandemic year, right? But we look at it like, all right, cool. That is a situation and a half, right? Law, hey, this team's supposed to go to the Super Bowl every year. We're presented to go to the Super Bowl. And lo and behold, his second year, this dude done won 12 games. But the credit don't goes to him. No. Dan Quinn, Johnny Bones, Jerry Jones. Everybody get the credit but Mike McCarthy. And I get it, right? Because of his lethargic appearance, the way he don't really do any move factors and things like that. So I absolutely flat out get it. It's cringeworthy for us to even say or to open up our minds, our hearts, our thoughts on this, right? But it is what it is at this point. The man is going into his third year, and we want Super Bowl. We want to get this thing going in that fashion. We want Super Bowl or bust with Mike going into his third year because there should be zero excuses, right? We are not impressed by 12. Look, Williams says, I'm not impressed with 12-5. Right? And you have a home game. Wild card is that. And then you hear everybody, mama, uncle, cousin, Tupac, and Biggie said, hey, come on, man. Your team nervous? Somebody said, I want some glory. Somebody said, give me some glory hole on that one. Let me give it to you,
I want me some glory hole.
That's the expectation that is exhibit right now and presented to everyone. Shout out to my guy Jerry. He says Reese. Shout out to him. Garrett, Campo, Switzer, and Mike McCarthy made the list. I forgot what he sent me. He sent me an article. 40 coaches who ran their teams into the ground. I'm going to have to. Oh, Jerry Reese, man, you're going to have to send that to me via Twitter so I can share this thing. So Mike McCarthy ran that team to the ground, the Green Bay Packers. He sent that text to me private on my private line. He's one of my guys. But neither here nor there. How and what we should do at this point. Should we cry as Cowboy Nation? I'm just talking to you guys normal before we go into this episode. This is my monologue. Should the Cowboys cry because the moon is in the air or orbiting around the earth? And say, I can't stand the moon when it shines. And the moon has nothing to do with it. The shine is just a reflection from the sun. Oh, who's in control of everything? Oh, it's supposed to be Jerry Jones, who relinquished some of his powers, because we can see how the flow of this thing going. That Jerry is not in control of this anymore. It's the sun. And Jerry's supposed to be the guy that closed on the deal. Crush says, Bobby Wagner, is he coming to Dallas? At this point, we can't wait until draft time come around, because Bobby Wagner, Honey Badger, J.C. Treader, who else out there? Julio Jones, all of those guys. I just look at it like this. If the Cowboys do decide to go reach out and touch one of those guys' hands and bring them in and make this Cowboys world a better place, Calais Campbell, then it would be out of the norm. They're fixated on the draft right now. Draft is next month, baby. And then after the draft, there will be a slew of guys being released. Gilmore still available, B.D. Gray, yeah. After the draft, there'll be a slew of guys released. And the Cowboys have money and remuneration to go out there and make some dances. But the biggest separation of all, is how Mike McCarthy present this. One of the things that we want to pull up from Michael Gelkin, one of the better beat writers in the Dallas area. Be sure to check out Michael Gelkin's work. And shout out to John Machota and Jory Epstein. All of those people are pretty good. But Michael Gelkin tweeted out this earlier today. Mike McCarthy won't be attending the NFL annual meeting here in Palm Beach, Florida. Sources said it's uncommon for a head coach not to attend. Instead, Mike McCarthy continues, see that S on the end of it, his focus on the Cowboys pre-draft scouting process, which include an extensive travel and pro days this week. You see the beautiful Palm Beach. Here's the thing, Cowboy Nation. When we contextualize it like this, when your back is against the wall and you have something that you try to prove to the world, that you are eligible to be on this platform, to be the coach, you don't have time to waste time. And give me a person with their back against the wall. Remember, I said two things going to happen to Mike McCarthy. Either he's going to fold like that cheap lawn chair that you go buy from Fred's, Walmart, the little cheap one. They take one beating of a rain or a hot summer that it got doggone fold up and rust and the bottom fall out. Or you're going to stand tall and say, hey, my back is against the wall, and if we're going to go down, we're going to go down my way, like Frank Sinatra. My way. I'm going to do it my way. Like Usher sung that song, My Way. He's going to go down with the ship my way. And I can't wait to see if this guy is really going to say, hey, Kellen Moore calling the play, 21 slam, up the gut, and Mike McCarthy, give me this playbook. You going to talk bad about me if I don't? Stand into the gap and be the guy that can be the difference maker. Let me call the plays. Oh, you talking about bringing in Sean Payton? Huh? Over me? This is what you gonna do behind my back? You already creating the obituary for me. You trying to put dirt on me. I'm going to show y'all that I'm from Pittsburgh, right? I got a worker's mentality. I'm not finna fold up now. Hey, last time I was in this situation, I was beat out by the quarterback and everybody else saying that I took off. I was getting massages, Now it's time for me to stand tall. Shout out to you, JD from DC. Appreciate you for the donation there. Now it's time for me to stand tall and get this thing out of the mud the right way.
Are these the same sources that said Amari called Doc the Black Kirk Cousins?
Say it again.
Shame.
Are these the same sources that said Amari called Doc the Black Kirk Cousins?
Say it again. The biggest issue is that was a parody account. There was no substance to that person who tweeted out that Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper had an issue. To the degree I even reached out to Dak Prescott's brother, Tad, and he said, man, that's all bull sugar, basically. And, take it with a grain of salt. Here's the thing. And notice, no verifiable Twitter person tweeted out and echoed the same sentiments. Don't you know how much money is left on the table of someone can make if that was a true situation and scenario? But come on, people are so gullible. People are so ready to make a name for themselves that they would take bull sugar and they would spread it out amongst the world and say, yeah, man, this is what Amari Cooper said about Rain Dakota Prescott, and run with it. I told people before, the lie will travel all around the world before the truth wakes up and put his shoes on. The lie would have been at everybody's doorstep, and people would perceive for that lie to be true. And I always tell people, too, validation is only good for parking. But there's sometimes when you look into everything, you have to dissect it and understand right from truth, right from wrong, wrong from being right. You have to be able to dissect that. And what Cowboy Nation tend to do collectively is to run with the lie quicker. And you will have people saying, you know what, Jimmy Johnson wasn't that great of a coach. It wasn't Jimmy's fault. It was Jerry's fault. It was Jerry. It wasn't Jerry's fault. It was Jimmy's fault. And they get confused with both of the storylines, and then you will have the great divide. Team Jerry over here in the right corner, Team Jimmy in the left corner. And then when somebody say, hey, man, both had big egos, right? But clearly you can see that somebody overstepped their boundaries, tried to do something that they were not created to do. And that's coaching, and that's meddling. But if you have constraints, because I believe in a great system, it requires multiple alpha males. Jerry Jones, brilliant marketing guy, brilliant owner to that degree. Alpha male and to that degree. Saved the NFL to that degree. There's no one that can out-debate me on that. I'm waiting. That Jerry Jones saved the NFL from a marketing aspect of bringing in revenue, also being able to sell merchandise and tickets with the marketing jazz that everybody from that influence took hold to. Because if before Jerry Jones individualizing personal sponsorships, people would have been out here rocking Rydell, juxtaposed to Nike and Reebok. But nobody want to listen to that aspect from law. Those are truths. And on top of that, to twist it and say, hey, for these multi-billion-dollar stadiums, let's not use our own remunerations. Oh, excuse me. Let the state and the people that's in the regions pay for it. And we get a kickback by being registered as an antitrust. Hear me out for those who need to be schooled in this department. As an antitrust, register this so we can get supplements from the federal government to help boost and project our stadiums so that we as multi-billionaires who use money that's not ours use the taxpayers' dollars to springboard this specific facility and say, hey, the state is liable to help usher this stadium growth. Y'all don't feel me? That he took that model and that example and spread it off to all of the other 31 other teams. That is the reality of it. While we're fighting over players, revenue is being shared in the NFL. The good thing about being a bookie is that you receive revenue regardless of the outcome. You winning. Even when you're losing, you're winning. But we as fans, we have emotions tied to this game. We have feelings that's tied to this game. We have a lot of stuff that's been deflected. We got our detractors, and people are already arguing who's the better team. When we are the team that's feeding you, it's equivalent to saying, don't bite the hand that feeds you, right? That's equivalent. There will be no Cincinnati Bengals. There will be no New Orleans Saints, Buffalo Bills. There would be none of those teams that you pumping up and saying if it wasn't for revenue sharing, if it wasn't for the bigger markets, splitting the costs and saying, okay, here's the revenue sharing aspect of it. It would be none. The bigger markets would rule over the younger or the smaller. Better way to say it. No Titans, no Ravens. Shout out to you, Paul. They can't afford to keep the lights on their stadium. But when you have egos in place, you want to be able to stand tall and say, these are the things I've done. Case in point, I want you guys to listen carefully. The last time we had a coach, is you guys looking at the thumbnail, why we have this guy right here in the thumbnail. And let me go back to my tweet here, and we're going to read this one. Around the NFL. This week in NFL history. March 28th through April the 3rd, Jimmy Johnson leaves Cowboy organization after back-to-back Super Bowl. Let me give you guys a little taste of how Jimmy operate and speak with motivation to his people. This is him down at the University of Miami. Let me know if you guys can hear audio.
It's called something that started right here in Miami. Swagger. And people get confused about swagger. Sometimes they look about the old Miami teams and they said swagger was celebrating. No. Swagger was confidence. You're confident that you're going to kick somebody's ass. That's what swagger is. We were one of the least penalized teams in the entire country. We didn't taunt. We didn't do that we're going to get 15-yard penalties. But we were excited. We celebrated. I wanted our guys to be excited, to be enthusiastic. That's what swagger is.
That's Jimmy Johnson. I come here to tell y'all beautiful people that's watching right now. Y'all couldn't hear it? Y'all couldn't hear it at all? Let me know if y'all couldn't hear it at all. Let me know if you were able to hear it. Coach Ma, appreciate you. Y'all couldn't hear it at all? I thought for sure. I heard it well, okay. Appreciate you, Alex. Appreciate you. All right, cool. All right, so shout out to you, Josh, for the 200 stars. Appreciate you. Spend the cap space, get dogs on defense. I feel you on that. Coach Marv, let me see. You said you sent something in. I'm trying to look for your comment there. Appreciate you, Coach Marv. But here's the thing. Swag is what we needed against the 49ers. The ability to walk in there and say, regardless of the situation, they are in my house. It was low audio, but y'all could hear it. Let me see if I'm gonna see if I can rev it up again, but let me see if this is better.
It's called something that started right here in Miami. Swagger.
Let me know if y'all can hear it now.
People get confused about swagger. Sometimes they look about the old Miami teams and they said swagger was celebrating. No. Swagger was confidence. You're confident that you're going to kick somebody's ass. That's what swagger is. We were one of the least penalized teams in the entire country. We didn't taunt. We didn't do that we're going to get 15-yard penalties. But we were excited. We celebrated. I wanted our guys to be excited, to be enthusiastic. That's what swagger is.
Now, Jimmy Johnson got a book, and he wrote in that book about swagger. Jimmy Johnson, the swagger, and he goes into more details about everything. Appreciate you, B. Weed, man, for the super chat. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for all what you do for the nation to help elevate the nation. All right, so I got you right here, Coach Marv. I see you now. Let's go with this.
Law passive soft head coaches will fall to the rank of the Dallas Cowboys job. Facts. What have we seen from McCarthy?
My point exactly. A rabbit with teeth will bite. A horse will bite the hell out of you too. If you're from the country, let me know if you ever seen a horse teeth. Don't want a horse to bite you. You don't want a horse. A horse in the corner will turn around and kick your jaw off. Some docile and some docility can go into a situation where they got to get out of it. Right? And our only hope would be this right here, Coach Marv, and everybody that's listening, is Mike McCarthy to show his teeth. And when you have your back against the wall and everybody's talking about, hey, did you pay attention to the brilliancy of Kellen Moore midway through the season? And then when he got down to the end, and the brilliancy flipped on his head. Oh, did you hear about Dan Quinn, this defense, moving from the 32nd rank in most categories all the way down to the 12th? Oh, did you hear about Sean Payton and the Cowboys? All they did this offseason, it appears that they gave away talent. They go into the philosophy of less is more. And they expect Mike McCarthy to be at some such and such location. No. Let me go back to this one right here. They expect Mike McCarthy, Big Mike, to be chilling, eating oodles and noodles. Do the political politic talk? No. Instead, Mike McCarthy continues his focus on the Cowboys pre-draft scouting process so he can say, I got my hands on Jelani Walker. Or Jelani Woods, I meant to say his Woods, last name Woods. I'm saying Walker. Jelani Woods, I got my hands on him. I got my hands on this said player. Because if I'm going to fall still fighting. Right? I got my namesake attached to this. That's our only hope, Cowboy Nation. Believe it or not, Mr. Wright, appreciate you. Thank you for the donation there. Let the AI speak on it.
We are lucky to get out our division. I won't be satisfied with beating our weak divisions. AFC is where the QB are. What will this season mean to you, Law, if we can't compete with the real teams and QBs outside our division?
Oh, my gosh. It means a lot. We got to be able to compete. But before you go into further details of this, let me play this clip right quick. Shout out to my guy.
Russell Wilson, slow down.
Cowboy fan talk.
They'll both get in. I think Wentz is the best quarterback in that division. Many say Dak. I think Wentz is more physically gifted. Russell.
So the odds, that's what Cowherd was talking about, is that, hey, the Cowboys, pretty much I seen a chart that the Cowboys not even going to be first place in this division. The Cowboys are now behind, according to this guy, Cowherd, the Washington Commanders. Just like that. Carson Wentz, light years ahead of Dak Prescott, basically, from his mouth to you guys' ears. That he's going to be the difference maker. That's only part of the puzzle that the Washington football team was missing, right? We're taking away talent. They're building talent. I think I've seen somewhere where they saying that the Giants, or it could have been the Eagles, that the Dallas Cowboys would finish third, and every year we hear the same song and dance. Every year. Cowboys will not make it to the playoff. Cowboys will be dead last. And then when we start waiting, well, the Cowboys won't win a playoff game. Well, when we start beating the certain teams or what have you, well, the Cowboys can't beat playoff teams. Dak Prescott underperforms against playoff teams. But if you contextualize and you put out the message that even the greatest arm that I ever got a chance to see in the last 12 years, the guy by the name of Aaron Rodgers, wearing number 12 for the Green Bay Packers, is below 500 against winning teams, especially against playoff teams, is even worse. But he gets a pass because he's Aaron Rodgers and he got a Super Bowl 12 years ago. You guys get what I'm saying? The levels of grading system against the Cowboys are beyond me. And people will never hear and understand that I said the same thing for Tony Romo. You give Tony Romo, Bill Parcells, Bill Belichick, or even Mike McCarthy, for crying out loud, we would have at least made it to the biggest of the biggest dance. And I'm saying the same thing now. There's multiple battles, there's multiple wars in this particular team. We are the only team that our fan base eat at each other, fight each other, say the most egregious thing to each other. We still living in the past. Tony Romo would have taken us deeper in the playoff, even now. When Candace Romo is cheering, eating her popcorns, knowing that her husband can't lose the game, calling the game, don't have to take Toradol, right? Rivers Romo is like, yes, I can go play with daddy. I forgot the other Romo kid name. But look, Greg Berry understand what I'm talking about. The Garrett era sucks, but we still living in it. We still feeling the vibes. We still have some of the residuals from Garrettisms. And we going into year 3. Because you want to know how I know, Cowboy Nation? Because before the start of the season, before they made it 16 games to 17 games, people would say, hey, Jones Romo. Okay, that's the other kid named Jones Romo. Is it really Jones Romo? Shoot. Hey, man, If Jerry Jones give me millions and millions of dollars, man, I'll probably name one of my kids Jones. Who that is? Jones Law? Jones Law. Jones Law. But it is what it is. But residuals, people love to put people in boxes, right? And I get it. We look at the 27 years of ineptitude or what have you. But you got to understand 10 of those years, actually 11, 12 of them, came from the philosophy of the GM. But I appreciate you, man. Sadiq would appreciate you as well. Y'all listen to Sadiq.
We have over 300 watching and only 92 likes. Smash that like button.
Man, ain't that
Want the truth? You can't handle the truth.
Come on, y'all smash that like. Tom Downey, appreciate you.
SJ got swagger when clearing his precious cap space.
Oh my gosh. Stephen Jones. Yeah, he do. He gets swag, man. He start dancing, he start vibing to the movement. He start rocking and everything. He said, hey, I'm getting this thing under the cap space. And when I tweeted out, I meant it, that we have enough money to go out there and get certain things. Look, Cowboy Nation, conservatism is good in a certain situation, but you got to be able to risk it at times. You got to be able to, I'm not going to say this Sunday. Let me try to see if a cleaner way to do it. Nah, I don't know other way that I could say it. But fellas, y'all know what I'm saying. Sometimes you got to take it off and get the realness, So that's the reality of it. You can't protect yourself. I'm trying to keep it PG-13. You got to somehow get this thing the best way possible and just go at it. Greg Berry, that's a better way to say it. Thank you for cleaning it up for me. Roll the dice. Sometimes you got to. And on top of that, the issue with the Cowboys, they got burnt with the Brandon card. The contract wasn't that bad, but they got burnt from the naysayers, right? And of course, the Joey Galloway was a nightmare for us. Considered a bust. He was amazing in Seattle land, right? And all I can think of is all of the draft picks that we gave away. And we gave it away, and it literally propelled the Seattle Seahawks in that mid-range of the 2000 years all the way to the Super Bowl with our draft picks. Because I saw Sean Alexander, although he was good for like 3 or 4 years, he was top. That was our draft pick. But we had Joey Galloway, who stayed hurt here. And for us to ultimately get rid of him to get nothing back in return, that's when it started, right? For him to go to Tampa Bay, and he had a dog good season in Tampa Bay, right? And we had to be the front end of all of that, right? And we were like, come on, man. We rushed that situation because we knew that tickets were selling with the Michael Irvin, and we needed another legitimate wide receiver like a Michael Irvin. Although he wasn't brass as Mike, Joey Galloway was good, baby. He wasn't good for us, though. And then for us to get bitten by the same snake, Roy Williams giving up a first and a third and something like that, it was crazy. Then we had to pay him. Woo! I would never forget the game that Roy Williams finally showed up for us. I'm saying like, yeah, run, Roy, run. Run it, Roy. He's to the 50, to the 40, to the 30, to the 20, and a guy come running right behind him. Beep! Fumble! We lose that game. We lost that game. When Roy finally had his best game ever, I probably had to dig back and point out the year that game was. But I was like, dog, come on, man. We can't win for losing. I said, man, God dog, Roy was killing. He was killing the game, that game, boy. He finally lived up to the expectations. Then, I said, God dog. Oh, my gosh. And then I was thinking that the Cowboys were at least going to keep T.O., right? And we was going to have Dez Bryant and T.O., but they cut T.O., you know what I'm saying? before the start of the season, what have you, and Jerry Jones drew the little diagram or what have you. And, of course, we drafted we needed a wide receiver. It's similar to this particular offseason because we was going into the offseason. We're going into the season with Miles Austin, Roy Williams, and they was talking about, yeah, Miles is good and all, but, we need to see a level of consistency, blah, blah, blah. And Roy Williams, it was the argument that he's not a true number one, although he say he's number one. He got blocked for feet. He just crazy with the media. And the Cowboys have a chance. They might draft Desmond Bryant. I'll never forget. But we had the Raiders right above us at the point that they needed a wide receiver. And I would never forget, I said, man, ain't no way Dez is going to fall to the 24th spot because the Raiders need a wide receiver. And what was the guy? Was it Haywood? What was the guy? What's the guy named that got drafted right before Dez? And it was all based upon and predicated upon his 40 time. And good old Jerry Jones' father, because that's what he seems to be at the time, the owner for the Raiders. He pretty much is a replicant of Jerry. He was like, no, I'm not. Al Davis was like, no, I'm not finna let this for whatever. What did he read? What was the guy's name? Oh my gosh, what was his name? He wasn't gonna pass up on him because he ran that 40 time. Haywood Bay, so his name was Haywood Bay. Tonk, appreciate you. It's crazy. That's like Jerry Jones' father. Oh my gosh, man. Darius Haywood Bay. Oh my gosh. Let the AI
Giants
speak.
is a team to look out for as a problem. That defense is a problem, but offense can't block roaches. Garrett era had better run game than us now, depending on passing abs. No idea how to call runs.
I mean, I'm trying to digest all of that, Mr. Wright, before we go into this next segment. I really think this is what happened with the Jason Garrett era, and then we're gonna move off from the Jason Garrett era. We saw, shout out to you, Greg Fisher. We saw a coach that was in the process of learning, young coach who had to earn it through our pain and with our pain. We literally saw that. We contextualized it that Jason Garrett was supposed to be this brilliant offensive coordinator, right? And he was going to bring back the 90s vibe. And what happened, we were banging on the table, go back and watch when it really started that we started to implement the run game properly. And this was like, I know Skip Pete is here now, but I still think that Skip Pete didn't do a great job when we had Marion the Barbarian, Felix Jones, what have you. And I think that spell with Tashard Choice or what have you. But to make a long story short, we didn't start making proper decisions on running until 2013 when DeMarco Murray, when they figure out, DeMarco Murray can actually run. And it wasn't the first part of that season. It happened on the latter part of that particular season. And then 2014, it finally hit them and said, hey, we winning games because we running the ball. 12 personnel is working a little bit. And we ran all through 2014. Tony Romo only had one 300-yard throwing. They said, hey, we know that Tony is a good thrower of the ball, precise, can do things that, man, if we keep him upright long enough, we can win games. And we had no chance. And you know what? To beat the Seattle team at the time There was a few games that, they counted us dead. Matter of fact, they counted the season dead before it started, right? And they realized, baby, we can run the ball. And I don't really put that all to the glory of Jason Garrett's philosophy of running. I have to contribute that to the O-line coach as well as the philosophy. I think that he was calling the plays at the time of kissing the situation. Y'all know what that is. Keep it short and simple, or keep it what it is. Keep it short and simple. Y'all know how you break down. Keep it short and simple, or keep it simple, silly. I think that's how I say. Well, you guys have the right, proper breakdown of that KISS philosophy, and we kissed all the way through it. And then 2015, we forgot all about it. We said DeMarco Murray, he isn't worthy of the money that we are willing to pay him. And that was the first domino to fall. You got rid of DeMarco Murray because of the flash in the pan that you thought Joseph Randle was. Yeah, keep it simple, stupid. Yeah, appreciate you, Tonka. Appreciate you coming off the top rope.
Want the truth? You can't handle
Oh, my
the
gosh,
truth.
man. I had a brain tease at the time, man, but I appreciate you. Keep it simple, stupid. That's all it is. And teams, yeah, we bringing in Kenyon Green for a visit. Yeah, I think we already brought him in. Murray chose to leave because we didn't choose to give him the contract. And I feel you, because Jerry Jones was like, hey, man, he probably said, hey, pay the guy. But John Stephen Jones said, no, we are not finna pay no old running back at the time. And granted, DeMarco Murray, he went over to the Eagles land, and we kind of laughed at him, I think he only had one big game against us where he stiffed armed somebody. I think he got at the punt kicker or something like that, or the kicker or something like that. It was something crazy that he ran over. He used a stiff arm, but he didn't really do all of the magic sauce that you thought he would do. And then he went over to the Titans. He kind of resurrected a little bit there. And but what I'm trying to get at is that we are old enemies with the mindset of moving on from a guy when it was time to look at our core of the team and figure things out. And then 2015 hit. Think about this before I get on to the other point. 2015 hit, we were third ranked in rushing. The few games that we were able to pull up out of there was because of the legs of Run DMC. And also they had Lyle Collins at guard. You guys remember that, right? He got position flexed inside, right? And then on top of that, we were the third ranked in rushing. And they were sitting there like, shoot, that philosophy, the feel-good games, I think that in that year we put the Seattle Seahawks against the ropes. The final score of that game, if we had a half of a quarterback in that game, we won that game. I think the final score was like 6-9. But in that game, it presented a level of, hey, we can win if we run the ball effective. And on top of that, I know we got it. Tony Romo got injured that year because of the lack of blocking from Joseph Randle. But hear me out. I think if you had DeMarco Murray in that game, you'd have still had Tony Romo. But that's a story of a different day. It propelled the Cowboys to say, you know what? In 2016, let's go out there and get the best running back that's projected in the next 10 years out of Ezekiel Elliott. And that's why the Cowboys did the Ezekiel Elliott. With the fourth pick in the 2016 draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Elijah Elliott. Because all they were thinking about, if put it like this, they were thinking literally, we got the offensive front, we got the veteran quarterback, we have Ezekiel Elliott now, who is a better version of DeMarco Murray, who will, think about it, before Ezekiel Elliott was drafted, he was considered a guy that never put the ball on the ground. And one of the warts of the Cowboys with DeMarco Murray in 2014 is that he liked to play basketball with the football. Hey, just to strengthen my argument with that, before the catch, no catch, which Dez Bryant caught the ball, was a big fumble by yours truly, DeMarco Murray. And then in 2015, all the Cowboys were thinking, dog, if we were able to be third ranked in rushing the ball without Tony Romo, right, with a slew of guys that we done picked up off the streets, can you imagine if we had Ezekiel Elliott, right? So that's why they went with Ezekiel Elliott. The plan for Dak Prescott never existed. Dak Prescott was an anomaly. You know what I'm saying? It was like a situation that, like, good grief, how this dude is still winning? Is it a rabbit foot or what's going on? But neither here nor there. Just be committed to the run, body shots, and knock out. Yeah, this is from my guy, Coach Marv. So that's why I absolutely, look, this was earlier this week. I did a blind resume. Former first-round running back with the market value of $2.5 to $4 million, with similar production to Ezekiel Elliott in the free agent. Would you bring him in for a cup of coffee? And I know you can't read it, so tiny. But that running back is Melvin Gordon, who have fumble issues, by the way. But all I can think of, if this team go back to the philosophy from which they were built on, was run the ball first. And I know this is a whole different administration, but hear me out. Everything that Kellen Moore learned was from Scott Linehan. It's pretty much, hey, we're going to spread the ball all around, right? We're going to hit the open receiver. Although Scott Linehan was a dominant X situation with his offense. But I'm looking at it like this. The last time we won a playoff game, Ezekiel Elliott rushed for north of 120 yards rushing. I think he had 2 touchdowns running the ball in that game against the Seattle Seahawks. But what I want to do is get a fresh Ezekiel Elliott in the playoff, or a fresh Tony Pollard in the playoff, or hell, a fresh Melvin Gordon in the playoff. And you can do that by running back by committee. There was a team that won the Super Bowl in 2017, and it wasn't fly, Eagles, fly. It was run, Eagles, run, because they utilized all of their running backs. They kept hitting you with freshness of the running game. They utilized the quarterback best in that particular system, because now it demands for you to get out of that particular coverage. You can win Super Bowls with running the rock. I get it. Good defense, we're going to have that. Oh, excuse me, think about the Patriots. Think about even when Tom Brady won the Super Bowl with the Bucks. People fail to realize they had a running attack too. They had guys that was fresh coming in and out of that rotation. And even with the Patriots for all of those years, they always had a guy that caught the ball out of the backfield or ran the ball. Excuse me, we got a guy, Tony Pollard, that can catch the ball out of the backfield, and you will keep that situation going. So that's what was in the blind resume, and that's why I said it would be nice to insert Melvin Gordon into a 3-back set. Not saying that you have to have all 3 running backs at the same time, but I'm looking at it like this. If the Cowboys want to go far with this team, we got CeeDee Lamb. We have then, I would have to say this, old wait and see that we definitely don't know what Gallup is going to look like, right? Only living in a land of optimism with Gallup. And we have a James Washington, 5'10" guy, right? Who can high point the ball, climb it, pull it out of the sky. This is going to be your quote unquote inside and outside receiver, who was the 3rd or 4th option for the Steelers. Now all eyeballs is going to be on him. He's going to see more primetime games than he ever saw in his life in his first 4 years in the NFL, or 5. The stage is going to be brighter, and his catches, yeah, he can catch the ball, but his drop percentage, he's a 50-50 guy. Throwing when targeted, passer rating when targeted, he's an 80 guy. The guy that we just left from this team, Amari Cooper, passer rating when targeted, even though you guys say he gave up on many of situations, was 122. That's a major difference. And I get it, depending on who's throwing you the ball. That's a story of a different day. Ben did stunk it up. You're right. You flat out right, man. Let's go. I got some more super chats right here. Appreciate you, Coach Marv. Thank you again.
Jones family, please get U.S. Vets Super Bowl experience players on this team. We have enough young talent.
Hey, there's two ways you can look at that, Coach Marv. When you planning on building through the draft, you better have a doggone good coach, right? But if you planning on winning the way the Cowboys need to win, you got to sprinkle some veteran experience. You do. And just with our guys, it's cool. But I can only imagine if 2016 we had some more veteran guys, a broom that been around the corner, right? Versus that old broom that we just set on the corner. We probably did better damage. Or coaching too, that goes a long way. Developing this swagger. 2018, there was a chance and opportunity for us to scoop up the honey badger. But at the time, they was like, nah, we believe in Xavier Woods. I think if you had a guy, seasoned, veteran guy, and one or two plays go a long way. If you think I'm lying, just turn on the tape. Watch what Pat Mahomes benefited from them going out there getting some free agent guys like the Honey Badger who made a play in the Super Bowl, right? Who ultimately made another play in the Super Bowl against Tom Brady, but he was hosed on a call that was supposed to be a no call, but they called holding, right? It was a pick interception, but we can go back and forth with that one, but that's the story of a different day. But it do pays to have a veteran guy. We got Mr. Wright. Appreciate you again.
Remember Lance Dunbar? We tried to make him the guy.
Yeah. Shout out to Lance, though, man. Oh, my gosh. Lance was pretty good. Injuries was a big booger bear for him. It didn't settle well for him. But I feel you. All right, so Jelani Woods is looking good in the draft, by the way, for a second or third round. I actually seen, Kristen, Jelani Woods going in the 4th and 5th round on some mocks. But we do know that depending on how this thing all operate and sound, that sometimes, hear me out, a person's value becomes more valuable because of the team that's looking, right? And I get it, right? If the Cowboys start leaking out, they very high on this guy, or they really like that guy, then other teams say, we like him too, because the Cowboys collectively been known to draft good and decent players, right? So that's the situation. Sometimes I've seen where people said that the Cowboys, believe it or not, are farming systems for other teams, right? They look at it like, hey, when the Cowboys get rid of this person, we definitely going to bring him in for a cup of coffee, right? Farming system. They're like, hey, whoever the Cowboys used to play for the Cowboys, we go pick them up, I think the Kansas City Chiefs and another team been like that for many of years. Oh, Tre'Davious Ward? Okay, we'll pick him up. Hurry up. Go get him. The Cowboys don't know what to do with him. We do. Oh, my gosh. We can find room. Taco, he ain't that good. Well, we'll find a room for him. Come on over. That's how it been. Shoot. Detroit is a farm, too, yeah. I mean, that's just how it goes. And then I'll never forget, Bobby Carpenter was considered trash, was on the bottom of our feet. But, man, when he played against the Cowboys, it's picked off, That joker had 2 pick sixes, a sack. I say, God, dog, what happened to that Bobby Carpenter with the silver and blue? Oh, my gosh. Y'all remember Barbie? Oh, my gosh, man. Shout out to you, Coach Marv.
Law, I know you love Flynn work. If just take good look at film on our running game, you would truly see that Tay blocking was the main problem.
Tight end blocking off the edge. I need to do this one. And it's going to take a long time for me to do it. And I would do it, and I would show you guys. I'm going to go game by game. And we're going to look up only the edge plays. And I promise you guys, you'll see if the Cowboys were consistent in hitting that edge, we would have broke the opposition. They would have got out of their quarters. But I believe, I truly believe that what Dalton Schultz were being coached was to hit, get upfield. And that's not his strong suit. I don't think that Dalton Schultz is a terrible blocker, by the way. I think that the coaching technique over the period of time of him switching his responsibilities and no longer being the underneath tight end clouded his mind. Think about this. If you've seen it once, you can see it again. But he was pressing. And when you press, baby, you tend to do some of the good fundamental techniques that you normally do. You throw it away. And that's just how it goes. I get it, right? When I tell people, man, blocking, yes, it's technique. But, man, a little over a third of it is mentality. Get in the way. He's going to come through. Like, think about it. You tell the young running back, hey, you're 5'9", 100 this is high school weight, like high school. You 5'9", 180. You got to get to 2. But when they come through that gap, you got to sit there. You got to anchor. It's all mine. You got to get low. Low man win. I literally seen 182, look, 185, 190. Stop somebody that's 300. But it's a mindset. You got to be willing to save it. You got to be willing to sit down and greet them in the hole. Don't allow them to meet. Look, coach say this. Beat me there. Don't meet me there. Beat me there. But you stayed flat. If you got no momentum going, he's just gonna toss you out. And the best example to that is was it Jones? Is Jones Drew? I think his name is Jones Drew, little short little guy. That one of the edge guys, I think it was Marion, he was blitzing through the gap. And Jones Drew stand right in and met him there and put him on his backside. You gotta have that mindset for it too. Maurice Jones Drew, that's his name. I said Julius Jones Drew. Maurice Jones Drew, yeah, that guy. All right, so let's listen to this right quick.
Reads, Mac. It's official. This is the worst Dallas Cowboys offseason of the century, Mac?
Name me one. Yeah, I was thinking about this yesterday, Kevin, and I can't think of a headline. I can't think of we're almost at 4 months in, right?
All right, so you guys can hear the audio. Let me know if you guys can hear the audio. Shout out to 105.3 The Fan. This is Mac Engel. This is my guy also, Kelvin Gray. And I think this is Sean are also on this right here. So you guys bear with me. We're going to play this audio.
We're almost at April. And I went back to January 1. Think about how negative it's all been.
Yeah.
And I God bless the Cowboys. I know you guys are the flagship. They let you guys say whatever you want to say. For my 3 years there's only one time, Sean, that they said, yeah, don't ask that question. Everything else, it's been fair game.
Yeah.
Not everybody does that. We saw with the Washington Commanders.
Yes.
Their flagship station saying, oh, thank God we can talk about the Commanders now. no longer affiliated with them.
Right.
So, but I looked at really, when I looked at just like a day-by-day timeline, they beat the Eagles on January 8th. They lost 2 out of their 3 games, right? They blamed the officials for basically 2 of the 3 losses, which is terrible. Dak Prescott sits there and endorses fans throwing junk at officials after the San Francisco game. He has to come out and apologize.
Reggie. Appreciate
You've got a PR director who retires. No big deal. 2 weeks later, there's this horrible story about him being accused of voyeurism, which he denied.
Yep.
But the Cowboys have to throw a $2.5 million check at 4 cheerleaders. Dak Prescott has another surgery. The Cowboys trade a wide receiver that they used the number 1 pick on back in 2018 in exchange for a 5th because the coaching staff doesn't like him, right? Then they give all this money to a guy who tore his ACL on January 2nd. Michael Gallup's not going to be ready for camp, right? Tank Lawrence is their best pass rusher. He comes back, that's a highlight. Jerry Jones gets named in a, Springer-like lawsuit. Randy Gregory, whom the Cowboys stuck by despite the fact that he had done nothing for them for years, gives them the middle finger, right, on a flip. Then they've got to cut Lyle Collins because the coaching staff didn't like him. But they kept their punter.
All right, so that's a good joke at us right now. It do sound like a judge reading charges right there. All right, so how many of you guys feel? Hear me out. How do you guys feel how many of you guys feel like this is the worst Cowboys offseason of the century? Let me know. And I try my darnest to bring back, some of the levels of optimism, right? Dude, Sheila Neal said it sounded like a soap opera. He was going in, I mean, it's hard, baby. It's flat out hard. Because, show of hands, if you feel like Jim Laws, he put his hands up there. He put a hand emoji up there. If you can, put a hand emoji up there. If this feels like the worst off season in life, right? And then we sitting there watching, like everybody else making moves, like we be like, hey, what's up, man? Come on. I know we better make a move, right? Oh, he gone for what? You couldn't. And then you guys remember the reasonings for in the past for us not to, dare I say, dibble dabble in the draft or what? Well, not dibble dabble in the draft, but dibble dabble in free agents is because we got to pay this guy. We have this much dead money, but now we got money, right? We set on $35 to $38 million, right? And then I know we're down to $17 million now because we signed some guys of our own players, but now we're going to get an extra kickback of $10 million for Lyle Collins. And we sitting there like, come on, Jerry. Make something shake. Come on, John Stephen Jones. Shake something. And we don't get that longitude or latitude or that feeling of grace to see any of this stuff happen. For those who out there, let me just rewind this one more time so y'all can listen to it again. While I got to fix something.
We're almost at 4 months in, right? We're almost at April. And I went back to January 1. Think about how negative it's all been.
Yeah.
And I God bless the Cowboys. I know you guys are the flagship. They let you guys say whatever you want to say. For my 3 years there's only one time, Sean, that they said, yeah, don't ask that question. Everything else, it's been fair game.
Yeah.
Not everybody does that. We saw with the Washington Commanders.
Yes.
Their flagship station saying, oh, thank God we can talk about the Commanders now. no longer affiliated with them.
Right.
So, but I looked at really, when I looked at just like a day-by-day timeline, they beat the Eagles on January 8th. They lost 2 out of their 3 games, right? They blamed the officials for basically 2 of the 3 losses, which is terrible. Dak Prescott sits there and endorses fans throwing junk at officials after the San Francisco game. He has to come out and apologize. You've got a PR director who retires. No big deal. 2 weeks later, there's this horrible story about him being accused of voyeurism, which he denied.
Yep.
But the Cowboys have to throw a $2.5 million check at 4 cheerleaders. Dak Prescott has another surgery. The Cowboys trade a wide receiver that they used the number 1 pick on back in 2018 in exchange for a 5th because the coaching staff doesn't like him, right? Then they give all this money to a guy who tore his ACL on January 2nd. Michael Gallup's not going to be ready for camp, right? Tank Lawrence is their best pass rusher. He comes back, that's a highlight. Jerry Jones gets named in a, Springer-like lawsuit. Randy Gregory, whom the Cowboys stuck by despite the fact that he's done nothing for them for years, gives them the middle finger, right, on a flip. Then they've got to cut Lyle Collins because the coaching staff didn't like him. But they kept their punter.
Y'all leave us alone. All right, so let me combat all of this. I see some people say it's pointless right now. Yeah, and here's another thing too. We eventually gonna have to spend 208, right? That's what somebody else brought up some good points there. Like the recipe is being inserted into this particular pie, and we don't know what it is yet. We don't know if it's an apple pie, a pecan pie, pecan is how I say it, but y'all can say pecan or I say pecan, but you don't know if this is a cake. You don't know what this is, right? You don't know whether or not this is going to be a sweet potato, so a pumpkin pie. We just looking at it like, man, whatever they trying to make right now, oh my gosh, it don't look like it got enough seasoning in it, or it don't look like it got a nice flavors, right? And we just gotta wait. But what's the fun of that, right? It's still an entertainment business, right? And I refuse to wait until August. You guys hear me say, hey, thank you for tuning in to the Law Nation show. I took a whole hiatus, And no, I'm going through the ups, the peaks, the valleys, the ups and downs, the rodeo, jumping on the bull. We're going to get kicked off of it, jump back on it. I'm wrong many of times. I'm right a few times. That's just how it goes through this whole process of the off season, right? As the days turn, or however that show goes, as the world turns, I meant to say. So it is what it is at this point. Now, keep in mind, Cowboy Nation, if you don't like the off season, just pack your bags up and leave, right? And then come back. And be like another third of the Cowboy fans that fall on the negative side. Say, hey, I told you so. I told you they wasn't going to do it. And here's the craziest thing. There were a few people that say, man, the Cowboys won't make it to the playoff. Did we make it to the playoff? They ain't there. And then when the Cowboys lose in the playoff, then they say, I told you they wasn't going to do anything. But where were you when you said we wouldn't make it to the playoff, when you said we wouldn't win our division, when you said we wouldn't throw this many touchdowns, or you say we wouldn't beat this certain team? So they keep moving the goalposts, keep moving and keep moving and keep moving. And ultimately, this is the craziest thing of it all. Hear me out, Cowboy Nation. When was the last time the Rams won the Super Bowl outside of last year? How many years was it? Because I believe the Rams won the Super Bowl in 99, right? Was it 99 or was it 2000? Look how long it took them to get back. That's still a long time, right? They was in a whole nother city and state. One can argue that the Rams that won the Super Bowl now is a whole different team, a whole different construct, right? Yes, 1999. That's a long time. It was more than 20 years. But yes, I get it. Yeah, they won the Super Bowl. But St. Louis Rams didn't win the Super Bowl, right? The fans that say they diehard St. Louis Ram fans, right? Are they now all of a sudden diehard LA Ram fans, So that's a whole nother state, whole different principles, and a whole bunch of other things, right? But what happened to all of those fans, right? And what happened to all of the Cincinnati Bengal fans? That the last time they've been in the Super Bowl, they lost to the 49ers, right? That was a long time ago. And dog it, I wish the Cincinnati Bengals would have won that Super Bowl versus the 49ers. But they made it to the Super Bowl again, and a third of their fan base thinking that they're going to be back there next year, right? But look at all of those years they had to suck. And the diehard Cincinnati fan, the one that stood there when Boomer Esiason and whoever else was a quarterback there, that went through the years of failure after failure, and they still had their Cincinnati stripes on, right? And how shame would it be
Shame
for a Cowboy fan to root for us all in the 90s, right? In our glory years and our winning sprees and all of this other stuff, for them to ultimately say, oh, man, shucks, I throw in my jersey now, my support for the Cowboys, and I'm rooting for Cincinnati. Shame on you. It's more glory to those who weather the storm, right? Who's going to say, hey, man, I'm still fighting for my team, regardless of hell or high water. I don't care if this is the worst offseason ever. I'm still rooting for my team. I can't stand some of their dealings there, but I'm still rooting for the Cowboys, right? I don't care what happened. Think about this. As long as the drought we've been in, Chris Collins, he was a wide receiver, right? As long as the drought we've been in, the 49ers been in the same drought. They just been successful in their little misery. Look, I tell my brother all the time, I would rather be the Cowboys right now than to go all the way to the Super Bowl to lose it. I don't want to have that feeling. And you've been there, twice, right? You've been there twice. And holding that L like, dog. Man, God, dog. Yeah, I'd rather be where we at, because the next time we go into the Super Bowl, we better win it. I don't want to go there to lose. Be the first losing team, second, you're second place loser, I wouldn't want to do that. No, you can't brag on that,
Mac, why is Stephen Jones the Alan Greenspan of the NFL?
That's a great one-liner, by the way.
Thank you very much. Because it's so, we see all these teams talk about, we're in cap hell, and then they go out and they trade for Tyreek Hill, or they make these giant moves and add this big contract. I know the salary cap is a real thing, and I've talked to Stephen Jones, whom I like a lot, and he has come to admit and embrace the idea, if you're going into free agency, that means you're overspending on that player because you made a big mistake 2 or 3 years ago. Okay, that's fine. That's sound philosophy.
Yeah.
And are you getting any better? The Dallas Cowboys today on March 25th, are they any better today, Sean?
No
than
way.
They were on. Okay.
And no one, not even the biggest Homer fan. I mean, not even Mickey Spagnuolo would make that kid. Mickey might, but
he tried.
Yeah, he would try. But I don't think anyone would say that. They all say it's early. It's early.
Oh, I know. And are they going to? There's nobody left that they're going to get off the street that's going to make him any better. The only thing that's going to make him any better, they think Dak Prescott is as good as Aaron Rodgers, that they can put pretty good players around him, and he'll make them great, and they'll win 10 or 11, 12 games. And the NFC East still is garbage.
Yes. And the NFC.
Huh?
Yeah. It absolutely baffles me just how bad this division remains. And if you're like, well, where's our...
Mac, the greatest stat right now in sports, the most embarrassing, 17 straight years without a back-to-back division winner in that division.
There you go.
That
was it. There you go. And so do you think the Cowboys are going to break that streak?
Yeah,
they might. No, seriously, who's better than them, right? Who could unseat them?
Right.
The Eagles?
The Giants are the one team to me, Mac, that does give me pause. Not necessarily
the Giants are the fourth.
Well, hold on now. They got Wink Martindale's their new defensive coordinator. Defensively, they've always been, decent. The major question is at quarterback with Daniel Jones. Can Brian Dable do something with Daniel Jones? If he can't, then I'm not worried about the Giants. But I do think Wink Martindale is going to make a big difference defensively for them.
All right, so before we get into the Giants hype, shout out to my guys, RJ, and then also shout out to Kelvin Gray. And I wish, this is my only hope, that I wish that this can happen right here, Cowboy Nation, that everybody say the Cowboys will be what's on the bottom of everybody's feet. will be the bottom of this division. I wish that we start off slow once again and everybody overlook this particular team. I hope that this team don't start off 1, 2, 3-0 or what have you, because that's when everything turns. I just wish that we start off slow, go through our warts, have everybody turning on us, send us turmoil and big deal, what have you. And when it get to the latter part of the year, we start catching fire. That's what I hope for, that these guys started to play with each other and understanding the level of realness. Because when that hype wear off, it seems like, it goes down for the Cowboys in a certain situation, because all of a sudden, hear me out, Cowboy Nation, before y'all shank me with the butter knife. The Cowboys, 6-0 now after the week 1, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, bam, everything goes against us. But I want it to be timed just right, that by the time the hype wear off, we done already been lifting up that Lombardi trophy. And I get it, right? Whoever goes, I've literally seen somebody hit me up the other day and said the Cowboys still got 3 number ones at wide receiver. I said, what? What the world? What? I said, man, you got CeeDee Lamb, who we all love and cherish, right? And we want him to be the best. And I'm quite sure he will earn his namesake for this year. And then we have Michael Gallup, who we don't know. I think Gallup is a solid 2 at best. And James Washington, he's teetering right at 3. You know what I'm saying? In between 3 and maybe a 2. But come on, Cowboy Nation, stop it. We don't have 3 number 1 wide receivers. We don't. Last season, we had 2 number 1s, if you could argue that. And Gallup is the number 2 receiver. He plays that X role pretty well. I like Gallup on the boundary side. Look, running his routes on that side of the field, high pointing the ball, bang 8, post. I like him, vert, the 9 route, what have you. But leave the drags to Lamb. And I'm not even going to talk about what type of route concept that we should have now for Amari Cooper, because he's gone. But now that we have James Washington, who I believe will fit pretty good into this system, don't get this thing twisted, though. And I get it. He was banging on the table saying that, hey, I wasn't used properly in Steelers' system. But for every James Washington, and we thinking that you're getting an Antonio Brown, would be a Mike Wallace. You know what I'm saying? I recall Mike Wallace, and to be fair to the Steelers, they can pump out some wide receivers. They can. But listen to this guy.
That could give them trouble.
But Mac, what's keeping me awake is why we got to it's not really. It's no, my freaking kid's keeping me awake. But what? Look, they love relevancy. They want to contend. Why is this happening? I've never been here in 11 years covering an offseason with such an intended step backwards. Why do you think it's happening?
Because the last guy they really went in big on,
Brandon Carr.
Was Brandon Carr, and they made a trade for Roy Williams, right? I think that was before you got here. Mm-hmm. They traded for the Lions, Roy Williams, and it didn't really work out.
Right.
And the only thing I can think of is two things. I think Steven is in charge more than ever, which would make sense. Jerry's getting up there, and that would make sense that Steven would be more in charge. And I really do believe that he has embraced the philosophy of if we're going to be good, we have got to do this from within. Kind of like you build a minor league baseball or a baseball team through your minor league system, which is we're going to do this through the draft, and we're not going to go out and make these big, giant off-season additions. Like, you think about it, when the Cowboys signed when Jerry Jones signed Deion Sanders, he got into a fight with his dad over it. Stephen Jones got into a fight with his dad over it.
Yeah.
True that.
And so it's just a different philosophy, and I do believe Jerry would set fire to anything in order to make it better, whereas Stephen is far more conservative. And that's just what we're watching. And the only thing that gives me pause when I look at some of these moves,
Right.
are they really catastrophic?
I mean, you can make
Probably.
the case. You can make the case for all of them, I guess. The one that's ticked people off the most is Amari. Like, why is Amari Cooper really not here?
Because they didn't like him.
Yeah, that is a good, fair assessment. They just didn't like Amari. You know, we can look at all of the money that we have left, and they just didn't like him. And I get it, right? You can talk about, hey, it's not worth $20 million, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, we got to pay this guy, pay that guy. You know, I can feel what people are saying. But if you like him, you be like, man, 2 tears in the bucket. You know, that is who we perceive to want on this team. And we will restructure him and we will figure things out. But if you don't like a person, you would just try to get rid of them. And if you look at the average target, like, you can't argue numbers, right? You can, but let's say this. Let's argue this. The facts part of it. Passer rating when targeted was 122. So is this a situation whereas they see the writing on the wall and this guy literally outed? Man, you know what? I'll tell you what. I got time today. What it is, 1:43. I'm going to pull up the video that started this all, and we can go back and forth with that. But let's listen to finish this audio out, and I'm going to pull up when this all happened.
They just didn't like him. He was in Oakland for 52 games. He was with the Cowboys for 56 games. Look at the coaches that he played for. Jack Del Rio, John Gruden, Jason Garrett, and Mike McCarthy. 3 of those 4, Sean, are your classic coachy coach, tough guy, testosterone, football hard guys. Jason Garrett's a little bit more cerebral.
What was your character? That's who they were. Football!
Football! Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Great character.
That's it. So, and I think they just didn't like him.
Oh, was it Mac McShay?
It was Mel McShay.
Mel McShay.
That's a good one. Thank you.
Yes.
So I just don't think they liked him and the contract, and so now he's gone. And I don't blame you. I'm like, you gave up a 1 to get him, and he's here for 56 games. Like, he wasn't even here the duration of the length of a 5-year contract that a rookie would get. Yeah. And it's not like he's old, and they dumped him for a 5th-round pick. And now the Chiefs get 50 picks for Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you got a 5 for this guy? That's it?
Last one, Matt Gangle, Fort Worth Star-Telegram. I don't believe that they believe it yet. Do you believe that they believe Dak is good enough to carry them like this?
Man, I don't know, because, you know, I might have been, I don't know if I was on the show still with you guys when they made the trade for Amari Cooper. Go back and look at Dak Prescott's productivity that season before they got Amari Cooper and after they got Amari Cooper.
It was the worst in franchise history.
Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah.
I mean, it was like Dak was just okay, and then he gets Amari Cooper, a legit number 1, and all of a sudden they take off. They beat the Seahawks in the playoffs. They get run out of the building in L.A. against the Rams in the divisional round. But, I mean, there was a clear line of demarcation between pre-Amari and post-Amari, and the impact he made on Dak was
tremendously
irrefutable. Right? You couldn't. The numbers just screamed at you.
He saved the season.
He did. Yeah,
he saved the season.
It was a great, and you know the Cowboys got all this credit. So if they believe it, and you know we love Dak, he's a great guy. I want to see him succeed. But I'm like, you know what? He ain't Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers could take you or me and give me 50 catches.
Yeah.
I don't know about this. So CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Godspeed on getting healthy, and Dalton Schultz. and a banged-up older Ezekiel Elliott behind an offensive line that I don't know what that's going to be. Good luck.
And the headline.
All right, so that was Mac Engel from 105.3 The Fan with Kevin Gray and RJ. All right, so we'll find out basically. Oh my goodness, time can't get here.
La'el Collins would count 15 million.
He can't get here fast enough. All right, so let me see if I can do this right quick. Appreciate you guys. Amari Cooper, he understands the bigger picture. There's games to be played. Go over to this. Cowboy Nation, we talked about this before, about not having that diva wide receiver, about not having that person that says, me. And I'm glad that we don't have that with this particular team. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this video, and we're going to go back and forth over this conversation about all what's said or what have you. Let me see if I can fix this up right quick so it can look a little bit better than what I just showed you guys. All right, bear with me 1 second, baby. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. We're going to build a plane while it's in the air. We're going to go over this, and then we can go grab us a bite to eat. That's okay with you guys? Let me know. Y'all want me to keep going? We can do that too. Let's go right here. Bam, here we go. Properties. And we're looking for bam. Done. Bam. All right, well, look at that. Building a plane while it's in the air, baby. Yeah. Look at me. This is my old studio, my old office too. So let's listen to this. I'm gonna think I can fast forward just a little bit. I think it was about right here. But let's listen to this audio.
A nice little winning streak, but we were looking at yesterday the amount of targets for Amari Cooper the last handful of games, and they're not big numbers. What all is going into that, and does it bother you at all when you guys are winning but the offense isn't being explosive or you're not getting the ball? Does that bother you at all?
All right, so this right here was the start of it all. This was 3 months before the season was over with. This video was done, and this was my guy when Kavanaugh was still working for 105 or what have you. And we're going to get right to the meat and potatoes of everything. Watch, this is what really caused Amari Cooper to get up out of here, because he just called a spade a spade. But listen to it closely.
I got to be honest, it actually does. Because yeah, we're winning, but the defense is playing a huge part in that. We're not really as explosive as we should be. We're not converting a lot of their turnovers to touchdowns. A lot of them are field goals, and I feel like I could be a huge part of that. So that's what frustrates me.
4 strikes.
And yeah, that's what it is. I think I can do more in the red zone. If I get the targets, I think I could do more on third downs if I get the targets, so that to help the offense be where we need to be. I definitely think I can help change that for sure.
All right, so basically, he said if I feel that if I can get more targets, it goes back to what we've been talking about at the beginning of this video. Passer rating when targeted, 122. Let's go. All right, so let me tell you guys this right quick. Anger, frustration, being mad, those emotions are necessary. Let me repeat. Anger, frustration, being mad, being upset are necessary emotions. But it's how you channel. It's how you channel those emotions and put it on the field to make things work the best way possible, Cowboy Nation. And I come here to tell you guys that listening to Amari Cooper, his frustration, his anger, the madness, oh my goodness, to channel all of that in and not to explode on the field, to go back and forth with the quarterback, to go back and forth with the offensive coordinator, to go back and forth, dare I say, to iron Mike McCarthy. All of that stuff goes a long way, Cowboy Nation, because they're focused on one thing, and that's winning the game. Yep, and that's winning the game plan that was established during the week. Now, players know. They know what's included in the game plan, right? They know what's in the ingredients of the spaghetti, the meatloaf. They know what's inside the food. And when it's done, when everything is completed, they have a good feast. They eat. But sometimes when you draw out the game plan and you're looking at it and saying, hey, coach, where am I at on this list? Yeah. But to be a leader, sometimes, as they say, real G's move in silence. Yeah. But sometimes it's better to hush and let everything work its way out. And I love that about Amari Cooper. Let me repeat. I love that about Amari Cooper. Let's listen to what Brian Brothers have to say to this.
Amari, you're such a pro, though. Is that a conversation that you just kind of walk up at practice and kind of talk to Kellen Moore a little bit? You say, hey, or you just see the game plan, okay, this week I got a shot because 2 weeks ago we played these guys. I know who's going to cover me this week again. Is it something you say to the OC, or is it just something you kind of say, hey, I'm just going to just go out here and practice and do what I'm supposed to do?
Pay attention to this.
Yeah, I mean, we communicate with each other, me, Kellen, Dak, we talk about what we like and what we don't like. It's just a matter of it being put into the actual game plan or being caught in the actual game. Typically, we never run any play in the game that we don't practice that week. So you would.
Oh, baby. Listen closely. Listen, Linda. Linda, listen. For those who didn't hear this one little thing that he said, that is mountains of evidence. Let's listen to it one more time.
In the actual.
Hey, I'm just going to just go out here and practice and do what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, I mean, we communicate with each other, me, Kellen, Dak, we talk about what we like and what we don't like. It's just a matter of it being put into the actual game plan or being caught in the actual game. Typically, we never run any play in the game that we don't practice that week. So you would know throughout the course of the week how much you're going to get targeted for real. But, I mean,
so there's nothing to do with the quarterback, baby. There's nothing to do with Amari Cooper, baby. Because what happened here, basically, is what Coop's saying, is that I've run these type of plays in practice. I know for sure that, dog, I'm only going to get 3 looks. You playing spade. How many books you got, dog? How many books? Dang. Out of this hand, 2 in the possible. You going board? Yeah, dog. We going board, dog. But sure, you get those good cards. You gonna be like, sure, I got 5. How many you got? Sure, I got 6. Man, they go run it up, baby. But if he already knowing the game plan, that, dog, I'm not being implemented, and this is what's going to happen, how you think he should feel? I love it.
I mean, it's all a part of the game plan, and the offensive coordinator, he sees a bigger picture than you as just a receiver because you're only looking at it from that perspective as a receiver, as opposed to looking at the whole offense and the whole strategy like that. So, I mean, it's not so black and white, but I do think that in those situations, those important situations, like I said before, 3rd down, red zone, I do think I could play a huge part in it and making us more explosive.
So frustrations, once again, is only given to those who understand, right? What the level of frustration should be at, right? And that is why Amari Cooper, he's playing chess and not checkers with this whole situation. He can be mad all day, and he can say to himself, hey, I'm angry about the way this game plan is being presented to me. or I'm upset at the running back, or I'm upset at the quarterback. I'm upset at my contemporaries as it relates to the other wide receivers that I'm working out with, basically, out there on the field. I know that I can bring forth a better solution, like a preacher there, boy. Preach, preacher. But he said the bigger picture may be with Kellen Moore. Like I said earlier, Kellen Moore could say, hey, I don't want to show all of my cards. I don't want to give everybody access to what I know is a bigger picture. Write this down, Cowboy Nation. Sometimes it's hard to see the picture when you are in the frame. And Amari Cooper, he understands the bigger picture. There's games to be played. And there are things that my offensive coordinator can't reveal right now. And we are winning because of the defense, or we are winning because we are still vanilla, or we are winning because of our running backs, or whatever it may be. The point of it all is that you win the game. All right, so now that we got that out the way, right? The game plan, the bigger picture, not being able to see what the coaching staff and the philosophy of the game plan supposed to be with, and understanding this right here, that anything and everything that you do in the regular season get magnified by 1,000,000 in the playoff. Let me keep it 100 like Akeem said right now. We finna switch it over to after the playoff game. And we'll talk about the game plan of what, one, that you guys for the end of this month will have the ability to win this jersey right here, the playmaker, of what he said, basically, about all of this. Think about what we just heard. I heard. Who sung that song? I heard. That's a good rap song. But listen to this right here. Let's follow it up. Let's talk about the playmaker. You can get mad at him all you want, but you will not stay mad at him. I was upset at him about the matchup assignment, and I said, man, he talking a lot of fear talk. Right. But man, he was telling the truth at the end of the day. The playmaker is the playmaker. The truth. And Michael Irvin talked about the disorder, which leads to dysfunction. Rich Homie, appreciate you. Rich Homie Quan.
Yes. It's simple for me. When you look around last week, every team you look at, the stars of the team showed up and played. You can't win in this game if your stars don't show up and play. Dak Prescott, 69 passer rating. Ezekiel Elliott, 31 rushing yards. CD Lamb, 21 yards in reception. One reception for 21 yards. They had the star players playing like role players. And they tried to make a few role players, Schultz and Wilson, play like stars. That was a disorder that brought about a dysfunction, and that's why they got their butts sitting at home on this couch.
CD Lamb. But it goes all the way back to the game plan, baby. Who is your focal point? Why would you try to say, okay, I'm coming in here knowing that I got the machine gun, I got the bazooka, and I'm looking for the machete. You know, I'm looking for the machete when I'm trying to chop up and slice up the situation. The disorder, baby. So CD Lamb, he's going to have to be the focal point for the 2022 season, right? There's no more Coop, and there's no more situations where you can say, well, you know, we got too many weapons, right, basically, because we don't know how to execute and draw up the right game plan, right, for targets or what have you. It's facts on facts. Appreciate the TA, Cowboy. Oh, man, God, I got to listen to it one more time. I can listen to Mike Irvin all day, man. You can tell Mike Irvin hurt after this loss, though. Let's listen to him right now.
Yes. It's simple for me. When you look around last week, every team you look at, the stars of the team showed up and played. You can't win in this game if your stars don't show up and play. Dak Prescott, 69 passer rating. Ezekiel Elliott, 31 rushing yards. CD Lamb, 21 yards in reception. One reception for 21 yards. They had the star players playing like role players. And they tried to make a few role players, Schultz and Wilson, play like stars. That was a disorder that brought about a dysfunction, and that's why they got their butts sitting at home on this couch.
Oh my gosh, man. I love the playmaker, man. Oh my gosh, man. Oh my gosh, man. It was so hurtful, man, watching NFL sports after we lost that doggone playoff game. I ain't gonna even lie to y'all, man. But man, it took me weeks to get over it, even though we do this live talk or what have you. But man, all I could think of, man, equivalent to bringing a knife to a gunfight. Yes, Asmodeus. At least we do got a machete, though. We got that machete knife, And if anybody watched this show right here, C on it's on Apple TV. Oh my gosh, man! This is a great episode, man. If anyone of you guys got Apple TV and y'all watch C, it's a movie called C. It's marvelous, man. You go to movie, go right here. Oh my gosh, it is right here with that dude right here. That dude right here, the Aquaman dude, man, go watch that. See, that dude can do some things with a machete, dog. If you got Apple TV, man, go watch C. That dude can do some crazy things with a machete, man. I'm on episode 2. I'm on season 2 now. But man, this dude right here, C. Oh my God, I don't know his real name, but I call him Aquaman. I said, man, that dude can do some things with a machete. He blind. Everybody blind. Everybody blind. They can't see. And there's only a few people that can see. But, man, that dude can do some things with a knife. Oh, my gosh, man. But, Cowboy Nation, we are in that situation. Alex said Aquaman. Yeah, that's Aquaman, man. That's Aquaman. He on the land and he can't see on that movie, on that series there. If you got Apple TV, man, go watch it. It's a series called C, I don't know his real name, but he's Aquaman, but he's on top of the land, and he can't see, but he can see. Cowboy Nation. Here's the thing. And yeah, he was on the other show in the series that I watched too, Cowboy Nation. Whereas we all know this right here, that this Dallas Cowboys need to figure things out tremendously. We do. And the reality of it, Game of Thrones. Yeah, he was on Game of Thrones. Yeah, I thought I said it, but I didn't say it. Yeah, he was on Game of Thrones as well. Yeah. The other thing is, Cowboy Nation, we need to get back going in the right direction. Mike McCarthy back is against the wall, and he need to adapt the swagger mentality. He do.
It's called something that started right here in Miami. Swagger. And people get confused about swagger. Sometimes they look about the old Miami teams and they said swagger was celebrating. No. Swagger was confidence. You're confident that you're going to kick somebody's ass. That's what swagger is. We were one of the least penalized teams in the entire country. We didn't taunt. We didn't do that we're going to get 15-yard penalties. But we were excited. We celebrated. I wanted our guys to be excited, to be enthusiastic. That's what swagger is.
excited, and this is what Jimmy Johnson brought to the table. Now that we have Mike McCarthy back against the wall, will he be excited? Will he be able to overcome what the Jones family is presenting? On his final presser for the year 2021 season, he literally said that they do things that pretty much, in a roundabout way, that's not all about winning. And he said he coaching, and it's all about winning. So when we go all the way back to the presenting of what we talked about 2 hours ago, Mike McCarthy won't be attending the NFL annual meeting here in Palm Beach, Florida. Sources said it is uncommon for a head coach not to attend. Instead, Mike McCarthy continues his focus on the Cowboys' pre-draft scouting process, which include an extensive travel and pro days this week. So he's trying to get the swag back. He's trying to go down with his mindset on winning. With his people, with his troops, because maybe, just maybe, not everything is presented to him. And let me read the super chat from Lamar. Appreciate you so much. Let the AI speak.
D4K played average, but those blaming him need to blame Olina for allowing pressure with four-man rush.
Yeah, the O-line allowed four-man rush pressure there. Yeah, they rushed forward, dropped a lot of guys in coverage, and they said, okay, you can get there underneath, and we dare you to run the ball, and we didn't establish that. And that's all due to mentality. You got to get back into the drawing board, get back to the game plan, and establish that in the openings of the weeks before you even play the said player. So we got Brian Schottenheimer now. You know, maybe he can help out good old Kellen Moore. One thing I can say about Brian Schotty is that he got more experience than Kellen Moore. And even if he's contribute to being vanilla or what have you, maybe, just maybe, hear me out, that at least Mike McCarthy saying, hey, you know that Trojan horse that we had when we was on the final word? Maybe Brian Schotty is the Trojan horse. Maybe he is the informant. Maybe he's the guy that sneak into those meetings of what's going on with Kellen Moore and say, hey, this is what the game plan is about, and the percentages of us winning this particular game plan is slim, right? That's the good point of having a good old boy on your team, right? Somebody that you can really depend on and say, hey, I scratch your back, you're supposed to scratch mine. So bring forth some of that information. But send a lady over here to scratch my back, by the way. I don't want you to touch me. Mike McCarthy got in trouble with that before, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? But that's the reality of it. So Cowboy Nation, they got to continue to build this thing. I done talked to y'all beautiful people long enough. If you watched all the way to this point and you have not hit that like or shared this content,
shame. Shame. Shame.
You guys be sure, man, to help support the nation. Look, we don't know what this season will bring. I do know one thing, that we can be down, right? We can be high. But at the end of the day, they the ones playing the game. We just watching. So we are being entertained by them.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
So it is what it is. We don't know what this team is going to look like. 9 times out of 10, we can all have speculations, but I can't wait to the draft, and I can't wait for the season to kick off, because you can be paper champs all you want, right? But you still got to lace them up, and you got to get out there and make things happen. You know, so it is what it is, Cowboy Nation. Let's go. Let's continue to grind to shine. Let's stay focused as we wrap this thing up. Cowboy Nation, be sure, sharing is caring. We got a few more days before we give away the Playmaker jersey. I hope somebody that can win it and get things going in the right way. Let's go, baby. Let's get up out of here. Love y'all. Let's continue to grind to shine. I'm going to find me some exit music right quick. That's the possibilities of this thing, Cowboy Nation. We just got to get things going. We do. Shout out to you, Pickle Rick. Yo, Pickle Rick says, you should let him get that jersey for $50. Yo, I hope I can, man. I hope I can. If your name is being drawn, it is what it is.
D4K played average, but those blaming him need to blame Olina for allowing pressure with 4-man rush.
No doubt. Said it twice, AI. That's okay.
Let me get that jersey for $50.
Pickle Rick, I hope you win it. But by you donating $2, you can win it for $2. Basically, you could have donated 99 pennies, and your name would have been entered into the drawing. Goes into the wheel. Or you can join the halftime app. It's in the description box. Just join. And everybody who joined that particular app, your name is entered into the drawings automatically. A chance and opportunity to win. But I tell people all the time, we are all born winners. There's no losers. It's just that when you don't realize that you are a winner, it took trillions and trillions of opportunities for you to get here, and you ultimately won. Because now you're on the land of the living. I know we are enclosed with flesh because our spirit body remains forever. And I come here to tell y'all that the people that's watching right now, your spirit drove you here. It's the spirit of the Cowboys. That we all have the same likeness. We all have the same taste. We all have the same mindset to represent the silver and blue. We don't fold up like a wallet or a lawn chair. That's for those other fickle fans. But those that are here right now, we preserve to be in this battleship, baby. The wartime, baby. We may be down, we may be out, but we ain't running because we know what's at stake right now. Yes, pride coming before the fall, and we very prideful. But we willing to fall for this team because we support this team come hell or high water. Just like Marcia said, that jersey is mine. Let the AI speak on it.
That jersey is mine.
The fire is yours too, the desire. I tell people this all the time, write this down. Those who stand for this moment, blessings is coming right now. Because this right here, this information that rules the nation, is going to be permeated in your minds from the four corners of this multiverse. It's all about desire, the want, the fortitude of your heart, soul, and sinew right here. How bad do you want it? You see this stone around my neck represent the power of the universe, the darkness, the black. That's why judges wear black. The multiverse is black. The purest energy on this planet is black. I'm harnessing it right now, and I'm finna present it to you right now. It's about the desire through the blackness and the darkness of your soul. Yes. Yes, it's finna come out right now. Feeling the energy right here. If you want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time and your peace and your sleep for it. If all of your desires of it makes you quite mad enough that you don't get tired of it, and it makes you hold all other things tawdry and cheap, if life itself seems empty and useless without it, and all that you scheme and dream is about it, if you'll gladly go out there and sweat for it, fret for it, plan for it, and lose all terror of your mind for it. If you will simply, just simply, go after the thing you want, if dogged and grim and besieged and besetted Cowboy Nation, with the help of Almighty, open up your third eye, and you will see it right before you get it. Open up on it, baby. It's right here. It's all around you, baby.
This is Sparta!
Let's continue to grind, baby. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. I see you, Jay. Open up, baby. Let's go. Let's go. We up out of here. Rewind for your mind, baby. Let's go, Alex. Shout out to you. Let me see some fire emojis in the chat. Let's get this thing the best way back. Cowboy Nation, win, lose, or draw. All day, baby. Come get it. Let's go. Out of the nights that cover me, black as a pit from pole to pole. I thank God for my unconquerable soul, baby. Let's go. We up out of here.
Nowadays, nothing really excites me. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's I got wifey on bling and she freeze. Photo. Please. No photos. Cheese. No.
Come on.
No photos. Hit the door and the domain just whole team here might need some. Still young, but I move like a new
veteran, baby.
If you're down in my management, I'm just warming up a way till I
shout out to your Lisa.
Numbers one, different colors in my baggy light. Chalk it up, talk of the town where you're talking up. Wanna get you a ring and you tough enough. Wanna get you new things with your pockets up. Run it up. I used to be quiet and out of luck. Now I move up and move humble cause they hating and jealousy. My mama telling me count up your blessings and run it up. Nowadays nothing really excites me. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's I got wifey on bling and she freeze. Photo. Please. No photos. G's. No. Please. No photos. I keep giving game away. I put game on layaway. I got paid to play today. I get paid to stay away.
Come on.
I get paid on rainy days. I might make it rain today. I got paid off pain today. Thought it'd take the pain away. In my own lane, finger roll. I would never sell my only soul. Heard your whole team was for sale. Heard us on the market for the low. Who the realest, we might never know. All this acting, you gon' play a role. Give you the world when they sign you up. Draw you out and then they line you up. Now you're looking hungry, ribs are touching, need some food. Now you're all on live acting surprised, but you was fooled. Boy, get out the way, it's been a day, now you're old news. Now you got the pen and pad, you're trying to take my moves. Nowadays, nothing really excites me. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's I got wifey on bling and she freeze. Photo. Please. No photos. G's. No. Please. No photos. Nowadays, nothing really excites me. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's I got wifey on bling and she freeze.
As the world spins. Let's go.
G's. No. Please. No photos.
Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's roll with it. The mind, the power, the soul that's in you, the mind embodies all of this. We ain't going nowhere. Let's slow it down for those who need to slow it down a little bit. Hey, ho, let's go. Shout out to you, Lisa, once again, for all that you do for the nation. Body, soul, and spirit.
Take a bite of my burger, babe. Save a last bite for you. For you. Ooh. Don't let the street lights hit you all alone.
Come on, turn me up a little bit.
You know it's dangerous to go alone. Don't let the street lights hit you. Can I be I'll follow wherever you go, whatever you do. Play it too.
To get your own Power Stone, check out my girl Jazz at the wizardwaves.com.
And another one.
The link is in the description box as well.
7 wonders all in one.
chat room.
Don't let the street lights hit you all alone.
Get your song today.
Dangerous to go alone. Don't let the street lights hit you. Can I be your player too? I'll follow wherever you go.
Come on.
Whatever you do.
Shout out to you, Taylor. Shout out to all the nobles. Let's go.
If a paper crane can fly, then forever doesn't feel that far. So far.
True. It's the hardest
So
thing in this
far.
world.
If a paper crane can fly, then forever doesn't feel that far. So far, so far. If a paper crane can fly, fly on, fly on, fly on, fly on, fly on.
And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go. One love. Some boy B.
You have to be your biggest fan. And when things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that. Because you don't know who you're going to meet, who you're going to meet, who you're going to meet.